So just how much of an upgrade could Aaron Rodgers be at quarterback for the New York Jets? Let's talk about it. And well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watu-K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So shortly after the Super Bowl this weekend, Aaron Rodgers will commence his 4-day retreat into darkness and contemplate, the meaning of life, what he wants to do next, if he wants to play quarterback, what his favorite cheese in Wisconsin is, whatever he needs to do to get his mind right. And by the time he emerges from the darkness, hopefully he will make a decision if he wants to play quarterback in 2023, whether that be with the Green Bay Packers or another team. Well, where is Aaron Rodgers exactly? It's very easy to look at a player and look at their name value and say, okay, this is what we're getting. Well, what are we really getting going forward? Well, for right now, all we can really go by is the past. We have to go off recent history and try to project what could happen if he were to come over to the New York Jets. So he did just endure his worst season in the NFL since 2008. That was his rookie year. His initial year as the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback. He didn't play his rookie year. He had somebody named Favre in front of him. Now, he had a career low passer rating and had his highest interception total since that time. So, what is the clamor to trade for Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be turning 39 years old this offseason? Well, let's talk about exactly where the Jets quarterback situation is, and we can see where the upgrade would be. If we look just at 2022, I'm going to look at three stats here: win-loss record, touchdowns, turnover-worthy plays. There's a lot of things we could get into, but I'm just going to look at those three for right now. All right, Aaron Rodgers went 8-9. The Jets went 7-10. Not too far off. Passing touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers threw 26. The Jets threw 14 combined. That is less than one passing touchdown per game. Turnover-worthy plays. This is one of the big ones, and I'm going to go back to this in a little bit because I want to stay on this. Rodgers had 18 turnover-worthy plays, essentially one a game. The Jets had 33, basically 2 a game. I know it feels watching Zach Wilson that he had 33 in a single game. But let's go back a little further than that just to show how starved New York Jets fans have been for a significant upgrade at quarterback. If we go back to 2008, when Rodgers first started playing, his win-loss record is 147 wins, 75 losses, and 1 tie. The Jets' record since that time, 99 wins and 143 losses. Absolutely horrific. Touchdowns. To Aaron Rodgers has thrown 474 touchdowns since 2008. The Jets, 276. It is so stark, it is comical. Turnover-worthy plays, and we're going to stay on that. Since 2008, Aaron Rodgers has 201 turnover-worthy plays. The Jets, 445, more than double that. The difference, it's not just production, but also just knowing how to play. It's also about the intelligence, football intelligence. And now that the Jets have a roster that could be just a few pieces away, and hey, a big upgrade at quarterback would be a very significant piece. To me, also, you have the young playmakers. The offensive line needs to be reworked a little bit. Yes, there need to be a few changes to the defense, but you have a lot of playmakers. There may be no team that makes more sense to get Aaron Rodgers than the New York Jets. Now, let's talk about a few other parts of Aaron Rodgers' game and why this makes sense. The turnover-worthy play. One of the reasons Rodgers has been so good and why he is so difficult to defeat is that he just doesn't turn the ball over. If you look at turnover-worthy play since 2008, and this is quarterbacks with a minimum of 1,000 dropbacks or more, Aaron Rodgers is third. 2.2% of his plays could have led to a turnover. The only two doing better than him are Justin Herbert and the shady one himself, Tom Shady. Alex Smith, by the way, is actually tied with Aaron Rodgers at 2.2%. It's very, very interesting. And then even during the subpar 2022, Rodgers' turnover-worthy play rate was just 2.9%. That's better than several playoff quarterbacks. And if you're wondering, by the way, how the Jets fared, well, the Jets had 4.7% of their dropbacks become turnover-worthy plays. That is the second worst mark in the NFL. So just think, 4.7% to 2.9%. What a difference it can make. Now let's talk about Aaron Rodgers' ability to get rid of the ball. Now, he is known for his very quick release and kind of unorthodox footwork. So last year, his average time to throw was 2.67 seconds. That was 12th fastest in the NFL among quarterbacks with 300 dropbacks or more. So in 2022, a few more stats. He was 8th in getting the ball out of his hand at 2.5 seconds or less. He was 10th in passer rating while under pressure and 3rd in passer rating while under the blitz. And we saw with the Jets quarterbacks, when a pass rusher would come, this isn't just this year, this goes back years, especially really to Sam Darnold. When a pass rusher gets near them, we see the happy feet, we see the bad mechanics, we see the throws off the back foot, and you know the play is dead before it even had a chance to get started. Aaron Rodgers can go a long way towards fixing that. And by the way, with Zach Wilson specifically, if you're wondering, his average time to throw last year was 3.05 seconds. That's on the level of Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. By the way, they typically run with the ball. Something Zach Wilson barely ever does, which makes it even more frustrating for him. As far as high-end ability, there is one stat called big-time throws. Basically, it's a long distance in a tight window at certain times of the game. This is a whole PFF stat. It's a little bit subjective, but it kind of gives us an idea of the ability for a quarterback to make big plays in the most difficult spots. So Aaron Rodgers was 4th in the league last year in big-time throws with 33, and his 5.8% big-time throw rate ranks second only to Josh Allen. And we know what a big play passer Josh Allen can be. The Jets, by contrast, made only 19 big-time throws last year, and 12 of those, by the way, came between weeks 12 and 15. These were the weeks that the Jets were playing just the defensive dynamos of Minnesota, Chicago, Detroit. Okay, so they weren't able to make big throws against big defenses by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I want to do something a little bit different here, something that deep down it hurts me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. You all know that I'm about as big a Tom Brady hater as there is, and I make no bones about it, and I definitely make no apologies for it. But you could make a comparison with the Brady situation when he went to Tampa Bay to what the Rodgers situation would be if he came to the New York Jets. Now let me explain why I'm saying that. Let's think about what the Buccaneers had to work with in 2020 before the shady one decided to take his talents south. Here's what the Bucs had. You had a mistake-prone quarterback in Jameis Winston, albeit one with some talent. You had some talented weapons. You had Mike Evans. You had Chris Godwin. You had a lot of talent on defense. You had some big players there. The pass protection was struggling a little bit, and you really had some need at tackle. You had the 13th overall pick in the draft. They would use that to select Tristan Wirfs. And a history that was largely riddled in losing and needed a little bit of a culture shock. Well, they brought in Brady, they brought in Bruce Arians, and they brought in a few other players. We know what happened. Let's think about the state of the Jets. What do they have? Well, you've got the mistake-prone quarterback in Zach Wilson, amongst others, albeit one with incredible physical talent. You got some weapons. You've got Garrett Wilson. You've got Breece Hall. I still would throw players like Elijah Moore in there. I would throw Bam Knight in there. There are some definite pieces to work with. You have a very talented defense. Do I even need to run down the names? I mean, I could list half a dozen names easily on that defense that I would go to war with. The pass protection was not great this year by any stretch, and there are definitely questions at the tackle position. The Jets also have the 13th overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft. And do I really need to talk about the losing history that needs a change? That needs a culture shock. Now, the Jets won't be changing their head coach this year, but they did bring in Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator. We know Rodgers has won 2 MVPs previously with Hackett as OC. Now, should we say that the Jets have a chance to be a Super Bowl contender just by getting Aaron Rodgers? That might be a little bit bold, depends how the rest of the offseason goes, but it makes them legitimate. It would give them a modicum of respect that they have not had in a long, long time. And boy, oh boy, if they could get him without giving up the 13th overall pick, what a win that would be. Now, there's going to be a lot of critics who are going to say, oh, I don't think Aaron Rodgers can handle New York. He's too weird. What is the quarterback that can handle New York? What does that look like? I mean, you had Phil Simms come from, a little college in Kentucky called Morehead State, which nobody in New York would have ever heard of if they hadn't heard of Phil Simms. Eli Manning was an Ole Miss. I mean, come on. Joe Namath grew up in a small town in western Pennsylvania. So, I mean, come on. There is no formula to what will work. I'm just looking for production on the field, and you know what? He's got the resume, he's got the history, and I definitely believe he has the confidence and the will to win. I gotta think Aaron Rodgers knows deep down that he needs that second Super Bowl to cement his legacy. No amount of MVPs is going to override that. And during his time in the darkness, I hope that thought comes to him and he's willing to go to New York if the trade can be worked out. So those are my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers. I want to hear yours as well. Leave them in the comments. Do you want to see the Jets get Aaron Rodgers? Do you want them to go in a different direction like Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo? There's some different names out there. There may not be a perfect candidate out there. Absolutely. You can find flaws in any player you want to look at. But to you, who is the best quarterback that the Jets could realistically get this offseason? I look forward to what you have to say. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.